So here we go. Welcome to Distantly Social number 5. And today we're going to talk about Election Day, how many votes, and where will they go. Um, I got up thinking about the map, and I filmed Distantly Social for early election morning in Georgia. And during that one, I figured out we only need to cast about 42.9 million more votes to equal the totals of 2016. That would be less than half as many as there were cast in 2016, which would be 79 plus million. Due to the pandemic, it's overall good if those who need to, want to, or see it as sensible in any way have cast their ballots already. That relieves the lines, potentially, for socially distanced, hygienic voting. But I think those conditions will have to be maintained in numbers, likely somewhere between the total of the in-person election day voters and somewhere beneath the total of in-person election day voters in 2016. Um, I eyeball it conservatively, and I would think Biden wins about 50 to 55 million of those early votes. A remainder of 38.6 to 43 million for the Republicans sounds about right. There are just so many more of them that will be voting today. They're today's in-person voters. I can foresee 30 million Republicans turning up to vote easily today. But if I'm wrong about the percentage on early votes, it's because Biden has more like 60 or so million of these early votes, which sounds probable. So 33 million for Trump in early voters, and at least 30 million today is 63 million. That's a little better than his total last time. We may go by electoral votes, but there is an underlying story in the popular vote which polling shows has shifted, I would estimate, an average of between 7 to 10 points between every state. That includes reliably Republican states like Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, where Trump seems to be consistently underperforming. They are polls, and today the polls that matter are the ones where Americans can go vote. I incorporate my own reasoned projection of 68 to 80 million voters to add to the 93.6 million early votes on election day today. Well, of 68 million, that would yield 161 million votes, outpacing the 2016 total, which was 136.5. We cast 42% of our ballots early that year. That would be enormous, an 18% approximate increase in voting totals. That would be, let's see, about 152.7 million Americans were actually registered voters in 2016. So, could we hit that total at least? It seems likely more. 80 million more votes, on the other hand, would yield 172 million total votes minimum. I would consider that the plausible roof for this election, although the probability exists to be above that. That means the popular vote could lend Donald Trump as much as 80 million votes, and he would still likely lose the election through the Electoral College. But where is Donald Trump going to find 80 million voters? In the more down-to-earth expectation, let's say there's at least 60 million votes coming on election day. That's something like less than half of the ballots cast on election day 2016 by rough reasoning. Actually, 58.3 million votes were cast early in 2016. So, about 76 million votes were cast on election day 2016, or 79. One of those. So think about it. Do you see that number this year? If that exact number turns up today, that's a total of 169 million votes. Donald Trump would, again, need about 80 million votes to be electorally competitive. What I actually anticipate is Joe Biden winning about 90 million votes, even though, compared to previous numbers, more than 65 million were cast for Hillary Clinton and 62 plus million for Donald Trump. But if Biden wins 75 million, Trump's going to need right about 70 million himself to be within electoral striking distance. And many of those would have to come in about 13 highly contested states. I would kind of like to see Trump win about 51 million votes, 53 million votes, and lose the popular vote essentially 2-1. But here's my basis for that probability. He had 62 million votes in 2016. What is the possibility of turning out in that exact same number? If he can, I still think, if he's outpaced by even 8 million popular votes, there's a very small chance his votes would be the one to carry him to 270 electoral votes. I would predict him to win about 60 million votes. I think a supporter would be more comfortable seeing him win 70 million votes. But there's something fundamentally amiss in many perceptions of the election. Not even a reasonable doubt about delivering campaign promises, but a fundamental doubt in the security of American elections. I could forecast Biden will win 90 million votes. Why? They are out there. Trump would need over 70 million votes to stay within striking range of Biden. That would be 160, it would have to be more than 160 million votes, accounting for the third party vote. But honestly, what? That might be 2 million this year. Trump would need over 70 million votes to stay within striking distance of Biden. To keep electoral pace, Trump would need at least 83 million voters. There has, according to polling, been a mathematical shift on the mean of about 10 points in Trump's vote support across the entire nation. For example, he won Iowa by 9 points, but today he's struggling in a statistical tie with Biden there. When Kansas is polling to go for him by 9 and Missouri is going for him by 6, you can bet he is in big trouble with the rest of the country. That means the 5% he had in Georgia when he won in 2016 is turning into positive numbers for Biden. If you hear Biden called the winner of Georgia, I can guarantee you the rest of the math points to a sound thrashing. 6 points in Wisconsin are polling as 8 for Biden. That or Pennsylvania Wisconsin, that is, or Pennsylvania have to go for Trump for him to reach his likely winning number, which I would forecast is 279. And that is if Arizona goes for Trump. He says he's confident he has Pennsylvania, and that if he wins that one, it's over. They were scouring for every last vote up to this day. I think it's safe to say most of America on whole is prepared over one candidate or the other to contest the validity of the election. But many people realize you can be disappointed and move on. I can't speak to the hyperbole, but I was concerned about violence this week all year. Many people feel like they are on a roller coaster erected at a county fair. Will it hold up? Will the election system deliver America actual freedom? Anyway, be chill, Cecil. All the best on election day.